Disclaimer. If you are affected by thalassophobia or the fear of water or the ocean or anything for that matter, please click off this video now. Hope you all enjoy. Thalassophobia. While aquaphobia involves the fear of water itself, thalassophobia focuses on bodies of water that appear dark and dangerous. People are not so much afraid of water as much as they are afraid of what lies beneath its surface. Thalassophobia is defined as an extreme fear of the sea, the ocean. This phobia of the ocean floor has no rational origin, but it causes someone to panic when they are near the ocean. This terror is always generated even when there is not the slightest risk of suffering by being near the sea. In fact, people with this phobia can panic even just by imagining the ocean. My name is Sonic the Hedgehog, the fastest creature in all of Mobius. I could even boast that I am the fastest creature in the entire universe. And although my adventures were very dangerous, I have a huge fear of the sea, the ocean in general, the water. I remember that since my childhood that I started with this fear. But since a few days ago, I had quite strong and grotesque nightmares of the depths of the Labyrinth Zone. An area full of water around here in Mobius. Each one of those nightmares felt so real. The anguish, the pressure of running out of oxygen, and feeling how your chest burns because of the pressure knowing that at some point you are going to die slowly. You run out of air through your ears, nose, and any part where the water can get into your body, forcing you to leave that last breath you have left clinging to you, letting you see that any effort at getting out of there is practically useless. Right now, I'm thinking about everything I've ever been through. Since I woke up this morning until now, I've been standing outside the Labyrinth Zone, wondering if it is necessary to go in. I have been chasing a human, Dr. Ivo Robotnik, although I nickname him Eggman. We have been battling since Green Hill because he wants to take the vitality of all the small animals that cannot defend themselves, to give them to his stupid machines. In Green Hill, we met for the first time and I could defeat him easily, although, in his eyes, I could see how angry he was, and how he started this hatred for me. When we arrived at Marble Zone, his robots suffered a small change, and some of them were in the form of caterpillars that had spikes that launch when destroyed, which could embed themselves in any limb if you are not careful. Besides that, I have noticed some carvings that were written on the walls. Something was literally threatening me. This was becoming personal, and his hatred was getting bigger and bigger. When we were in the Spring Yard Zone, I had to fight him, and he made the ground very unstable, causing me to possibly fall off the cliff, which would lead to certain death. I barely made it out alive, and I realized one thing: that Eggman wants me dead. Even though he set many traps, he never achieved his goal. After that hard battle, my body felt very tired. I needed to rest both physically and mentally. But when I fell asleep, another nightmare happened again. And even though I tried not to think about it, it felt more real not being able to breathe inside Labyrinth Zone. All nightmares start the same way. It starts with me running, seeing the road, feeling the fresh air and the idea of going faster and faster, seeing the sky without any worry. In that beautiful moment when it was supposed to be peaceful and calm, I fell into the water. I was so caught off guard that I tried to escape, to hold on to whatever I had in order to get out. But I realized that all my efforts caused me to sink more and more into the depths of the ocean. With the little air I had left, I tried to find a way out, avoiding Eggman's traps. Because of my desperation, I almost fell into one of them. Every move, push, and grab gets me tired faster. Without giving up, I kept going with what little strength I had left. I tried to climb up to breathe, but I couldn't. Something was gripping me tightly. My heart was pounding so hard that my desperation was getting bigger. Every second of being there made me squeeze my leg tighter. My skin hurt, and my lungs were not responding. I tried to hold on a little longer, but it was too much. It's as if my eyes were going to explode. Water was coming in through my nose, and in short, I was drowning. My last option. My last stupid option. With the last bit of my strength, I used my hands to open my chest, to be free. The water that had entered inside me made my eyes come out because of the pressure of the water. My last sight was the water filling with my blood. I woke up. It was the scariest thing I ever felt in my life. It felt so real. I know it was a nightmare, but I still couldn't believe how horrible it felt. After a while, I managed to calm myself and bravely go to the next place, the entrance of Labyrinth Zone. My nightmares. The first thing I found in the darkness, which was illuminated by crystals, were two different colors. As I advanced through the water, I encountered were robots coming out of the ground like a drill. The first one I didn't see coming, and it made a small cut to my right leg. I got angry and didn't hesitate to destroy it. As I continued moving forward, I left small bloodstains on the ground and the rocky, wet wall of the place. At one point, I had to jump into the water in order to move forward. I was scared. My hands were sweating, my heart was pounding, and I felt the fear even in my feet. It was making me nauseous. With no other alternative, I jumped into the water, trying not to vomit in the process. I touched what could be the ground and ran as fast as I could through the large portion of the area. Along the way, I encountered piranha robots which looked like they were ready to attack. But for some reason, they didn't. I couldn't attack the piranhas because I had no experience in the water with my attacks. And if I did, it could have been bad. As I continued through the area, I managed to see that in some places, bubbles were coming out. When I got close enough, I managed to grab some of them so I could have a little bit of air. And that helped me go through parts where I had to be submerged. After that, at the end of the area, I could see a smiling and confident Eggman. This was strange to me, since there were no traps or robots. But one thing was for certain, that my leg was still bleeding. The pain was not completely gone, and I was so tired from all that swimming. And the little fur that I had, it felt so heavy. Eggman started to laugh like a maniac. I thought he was sick in the head. But suddenly, the water began to rise, soaking my sneakers. I knew that Eggman was behind all of this. I could see in his face that he had already plotted this from the beginning. I tried to climb up as quick as I could, but a robot with a chain on the back of it grabbed my injured leg and squeezed so hard that it couldn't escape from there. Eggman began to rise to the surface thanks to his Eggmobile and left me there, chained to the deepest parts of Labyrinth Zone. Little by little, the water was rising to my torso. I tried to do a spin dash, but since I don't practice often, I couldn't do it. The water had completely covered my whole body. But a little light of hope came as a bubble came to me. I was able to grab it and cover my head, allowing me to breathe. Was my nightmare a vision of the future? All these questions popped into my head, but I would not give up so easily. I was so terrified, and my body started to weaken from the pressure of the water. I carefully tried to take the chain off of my leg, But even if I tried to get out, I realized doing so was useless. I only had one option left, and that was to wait. Wait until someone comes down out of curiosity. But after a while, the air bubble bursted. I had little air in my lungs. I could no longer wait for someone to come down. I made too many sudden movements trying to leave somehow. I wanted to cry from the helplessness and my movements in vain. I was running out of air. My chest was burning. My consciousness was fading. My body wasn't responding. My eyes began to hurt like they were coming out of my sockets. The nightmare became a reality. And in an act of cowardice, with the little strength I had left, I began to tear the skin from my chest. I felt no pain from it, but I didn't care. I felt a smile come across my face as I did so. I think I chuckled a bit too. The water began to enter my organs, and as it filled them, my eyes began to pop out, and I let out a laugh of relief. I felt so free from the pain. But before I died, I realized they weren't nightmares at all. Everything that was happening to me were all loops. Loops where I died. Again, and again, and again. Drowning in deep bodies of water. No matter what, I'll always die in the Labyrinth Zone. I'll never stop Eggman. 'Cause it was always an endless loop. A loop in which I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.